Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of All Things Money. Today with me is Osman Nasheed. He's the CEO of BreakTime. BreakTime is a gas station company headquartered in the US but is run through Karachi. Now all of this is well and good, but I think you will know him best as one of the sharks on Shark Tank. Hi Osman, so good to have you on my show.
Hello, how are you?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
Very good to see you.
Great. So Osman, what I've noticed about you on Shark Tank is that you are perhaps one of those sharks who take more risks than others. When others back out, you are the one who's investing, which is why you have one of the biggest investments in Shark Tank history in Saraf. So what drives you? What makes you choose a person to invest in or a business to invest in?
So, I feel like the risk has to be there in the business, and there's no business can be run without a risk. So, how they say, no risk, no game. So, I had a vision of supporting entrepreneurs in Pakistan, especially the startups, where I feel like they have great potential. The people are very aggressive through their brands to grow the brands and to move forward, but there's not enough platforms. So that's where Shark Tank came in, and I felt like I saw great potential in those particular candidates who came in to do their pitches. So that's just how I wanted to move
So
forward.
potential is one thing, but what I see in Shark Tank is like in 10 minutes they give a pitch and you make the decision. Is that what it is behind the scenes, or do you have like profit and loss accounts and balance sheets and price, unit pricing and all that? Or do you just
So the actual the shoot time for one pitch was mostly from anywhere from, I would say, from 40 minutes till maybe 60, 70, 80 minutes. So in reality, when we were doing it, it wasn't scripted. All the sharks, all of us, we would not know who would be the next contestant who would come in and who would pitch. The only time we would find out is when we would come down to the set, and maybe 5 or 10 minutes prior for the shooting to start, we would just know what the brand is and who's coming in, and we would just kind of discuss and be like, hey, do you know about this, or do you know about this company? And then it would just start, and it would last for 50 to 60 to 70 minutes, maybe anywhere from 45 to 75 minutes. It would last per pitch. And how it was is, before, all the sharks, we were like a team, and we would scrutinize the candidate who's coming in, and we would ask them so many questions. And as soon as we found out it's a good business, and then it's like everybody's on their own, and now we all are attacking because we want that particular business. So that's how it came in. It was all like a very sudden situation that we would have to get in, and decisions were made very fast, of course, looking at what the numbers were. And within that 1 hour that we would discuss with the contestant, we would ask about everything: the unit economics, the market share, the market growth, net margin, gross margin, the burn, how much investment there was in the company. So all sorts of questions everybody could think of, they would ask, and we would make a decision based on that. But I think the way that it's structured is they cut it out for 10 minutes per pitch, and then just show that. So
for the drama and excitement?
Yeah.
So how many business have you pitched for as yet in Shark Tank, and which business are you most excited about?
So I've done almost close to 19 deals, and it's a good number, I feel. And I feel like the businesses had great potential. Those guys who were running those businesses are super amazing entrepreneurs. They exactly knew what they were doing. They just needed right guidance to move forward. So
but if you were to choose one?
So the one that I feel like was the most meaningful for me was the incubator business which came in, and they were making baby incubators. And I would say, if right now and this is based on what was told to us, of course. So what was told to us is, if we would want to buy an incubator, it would almost be like 4.5 lakh or something like that to buy one. These guys were making it like for 150,000 and sell it for 250 or something like that. They were making crazy margins, like close to 30-40% net margin. And the whole ideology behind it is, if a local hospital had a budget of maybe 500,000 and they would just be able to get one. But with these guys, if they were able to scale and go in the market properly, every hospital would be able to afford two, and at the same time, the business would make crazy margins. So for me, that was like really meaningful because the margins were really good and nice, and at the same time, it would solve a problem for the country where we would be able to have more baby incubators nationwide. So yeah, for me, that was like the really meaningful
Sounds like
deal.
a very interesting business, and obviously there's a social aspect to it.
Yeah.
But was one of the question asked at the medical requirements or the licensing for something that is?
So the good thing was the company was already established. They had 400 units already out in the market. By market, I mean hospitals and clinics and all of those areas. And one of my question to them was, how many recalls have you had? How many incidents or something? So they were like zero. That was the selling point for me. And they had their patent and everything registered with the government, so they were on the right track. And at the same time, they also did their trial phase where they had almost close to 400 units out in the market. So I felt like it was a really solid deal, and it was very meaningful for me because I feel like I understand that business and community service are two different things, but if you can manage to do it together, then it's a win-win situation and you hit a jackpot.
So if I am a business and I'm pitching to you, say I'm making these tables, and
Yeah.
and you're interested in, because these tables are really interesting and aesthetically pleasing, and you say that, okay, I'll buy 10% of your stake for 20 million. What happens next? I go off screen. What is the paperwork involved? How do you give the money immediately? Has there any business that you pledged for and did not continue with?
So how it happens is, of course, this was my question when I was initially shortlisted by Shark Tank, the people from UK and Sony Entertainment, when they approved me. So my next question to them was, hey, who's gonna teach me how to act? And they were like, for what? I was like, come on, man, I'm gonna go on a national TV. It's gonna be like a global viewership. So you're telling me that nobody's gonna teach me how to act in front of TV? So they were like, hey, do you know how to do business and make deals? I was like, this is what I do for a living. So they were like, we exactly need you to do that. Stay focused. So I was very focused on, it had to be very natural. And
but what happens once you go off screen? How do you communicate with the people that you are investing in, and how do you give them the money? Is it over a time span? Are there any tax concerns?
So that's how we did it. So it was such a long process because at the time of when we were doing shooting, it was just like maybe on an average like a 1 hour pitch. So you can't really make decisions based on that.
Yeah.
And because there are another 4 sharks, they have their concerns, they have their questions, and then eventually if it's a really good business, then everybody's fighting for it. So you really can't go down to that point. And at that particular time and place, you cannot really be checking papers and going through the details.
So what happens off screen? What happens once you have pledged
So
it?
once we do a commitment, it's a verbal commitment that we do on screen, and then of course we give them a token. So the next thing is that we go into the due diligence phase, and we usually hire a third-party company who gets with the people who did the pitch. And
obviously everything they said has to be vetted.
Yeah.
Who's to say that what they're
so
saying
that's
is
how
true?
we do it. If the companies are being vetted properly and what they commit is actually there on papers, then there is no problem, and we start moving forward in phases as long as we agree on their term sheets. And I really feel like the vibe should match. And I
Absolutely.
feel like if there's a good vibe and the business makes sense and it's very transparent, then it makes it very easier to move forward.
Has any shark actually invested money as yet, or is it all in due diligence phase?
No, we've done few deals already, yes.
And how many deals have you done? Like the cash has gone out there.
So the deals that we've done as of right now would be close to 4 deals.
Okay, so for 4 businesses you have actually invested, and you're hoping that there'll be returns.
Yes.
So what is the horizon that you're looking for returns?
So I really want to scale these businesses. So the return is one thing, but these companies are in a phase where we would keep have to reinvesting in the company for next couple years. So I see like a long potential in these particular companies because my model is very different. I am like a straight up businessman. My logic is to buy the company and then keep that company for as long as I.
Actually, so you're not looking for an exit.
I'm not looking for it unless and until, of course, it's a really crazy super deal and the co-founders are like, hey, we got to do this and this is something we are inclined for. We want to get out of it. Then, of course, I don't want to really step in and run a business, a different business or a venture by myself. So, of course, I'm not looking for that. So, if the co-founders are willing to sell it, then fine. But my thing is, this is not on my wish list to sell a company, because I feel like if it's a good partnership and they can give me good dividends, then why do I exit? It's like a retirement package. Somebody is working and giving you returns. So yeah.
Yeah, so if you have like about 20 deals in Shark Tank, then you have your other businesses in Karachi, and then you have the whole break time in the US. So it's, you have a very big portfolio of companies through a diverse range of industries.
Yes.
I mean, you have incubators, and you have gas station, and then you have Saraf, which is mining. So, I mean, how are you going to keep track of all of your investments?
So, of course, I have a team who really helps me out, and I am a firm believer of teamwork and team building. So I really count on my team, and I feel like I'm really blessed to have a great team. Without my team, of course, I wouldn't be over here. So every day is like a learning day, and I wouldn't say I'm really on top of 100% on everything. And but of course, we try to manage everything, and we try to be there as much as possible for every different venture and avenue that we run.
What is the advice you would give to any business that is coming into your show? What can they do to convince you to invest in them?
So they have to be very transparent. The evaluation of the company has to be very reasonable, and the rate, the ROI has to make sense. That's very clear, because there were some pitches who would come in and their evaluations would be so high, ridiculously high, and I would really get pissed off by thinking that this is a disrespect for me and the other fellow sharks, because we've been in the business and we know how to do evaluations. So if somebody is doing like 2, 3, 4 times than what they're supposed to, then of course it's a big no, and we wouldn't want to deal with them.
So basically honesty and transparency, which I think is key for every business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. So there's so many Desi, so many locals who go abroad, have the gas station business, where they stay abroad. For you to come back to Pakistan and invest in local businesses, that's great. How many gas stations do you have in the US?
So we run close to 300 plus retail outlets, including gas stations. Yes.
And they are run from Karachi.
So of course the revenue center is in the US. We work in 15 plus states. We started off our back office in Pakistan in 2019, and I started off from my living room with one person. And in fact, Dawn was very helpful at that point, because when I came in, I didn't know how to hire people. So I came to Dawn, and in 2019, the norm was to look for jobs in the newspaper. So I was able to rent out a whole page from Dawn, or half a page, I think, which was really costly at that time. And I ran a big ad, and we hired a lot of people from there. So over the time, I started off as a back office, but I was able to find such incredible people and great team over here that we converted our back office into our corporate office. And now, over the time of 5 years, we've got a workforce of 500 plus people working in our Karachi office.
So that's great. 500 people helping run gas stations in the US,
Yeah.
additional to the 1920 deals that you have done in Shark Tank.
Yes, ma'am.
That is amazing story that you have. Thank you so much for coming on the show,
Thank
Osman.
you. It was really an honor, and thank you so much for having me.